Hey, friends, welcome to this episode of the Business of Inner Peace. I'm your host, Erin Jean, and I'm kind of excited about this episode. It's one of the more personal ones I've shared in a while. And what's cool is it was actually two different podcast guests that I've had on recently that inspired all of it. So stay tuned, grab your favorite beverage, and let's dive in. Welcome to the Business of Inner Peace. I'm your host, Erin Jean, and I'm so glad you're here. Let's pretend we're sitting in my living room enjoying a cup of coffee or tea and getting to know each other just a little better. That's what I love. I love getting to hear your story. I love feeling connected by the spirit of understanding that our stories bring. Today, I'm sharing some of my story, but I hope someday soon you'll be telling me yours. Listen, I know that you're feeling overwhelmed with life, and nothing is exactly how you'd like it to be. Your marriage is not what you hoped for, motherhood is harder than you imagined, and you've lost yourself somewhere in the mix of responsibilities. Well, if you're ready to bring some more peace and joy into your life, reconnect with God who made you, and start living a life you love, then grab your cup of coffee or tea and let's dive into today's show. So, back in early September, I just hit a wall. Um, Unlike anything that I've experienced before, it was kind of like all of my motivation just vanished overnight. And it happened to fall during that time period of um, Charlie Kirk being assassinated. And I'm also in perimenopause. And so there's just like a lot of outlying environmental factors. I'm an empath. So part of me was wondering if I'm picking up all these extra emotions that are floating around that everyone's experiencing. Or is it because I'm in perimenopause and my hormones are out of whack? Or just what? What is it, right? It's honestly, it's been so uncomfortable. I've never felt this way before, and I haven't really known what to do with it. Um, Especially for like these more masculine parts of business and network marketing, the structure, the strategy, the output, the presence on social media, the content creation, all of that. It just overnight became overwhelming. And as I mentioned, it's just not something I'd previously experienced. The things that I had developed, truly developed a consistency for, um, were suddenly feeling really heavy, like dragging a boulder uphill. And I didn't know what was going on. I just knew that I felt tired, tired in a way that rest alone couldn't fix. Um, I actually had a really open, raw conversation with my sister about it and just told her how much I was wanting to quit. And she offered me a beautiful word instead. She offered me the word hiatus. She said, "How about you take a hiatus?" And that felt good. That felt light. So I globbed onto that word, hiatus, and I've been on a hiatus ever since. And now we're about to be in November. So I shared openly and honestly in a coaching program that I was in, one for coaches, and Holly, who is a sweet coach, fellow coach, Holly Howard. She was actually on one of my last episodes. Such a sweet person. She actually reached out to me because I shared vulnerably in our group what I was struggling with, what I was feeling. And she heard me speak about all of that and what I was navigating and, felt compassion towards me and reached out and offered to work together. And she has been supporting me and I said yes. So honestly, I didn't realize how much I needed that just to be held, to be seen each week, not having to process everything alone. And what's unfolded during the last few sessions with her has cracked open something in me in a very unexpected way. And that's what I wanted to share with you today, because if you've ever felt disconnected from your drive, or you felt like some invisible force is holding you back from what you know is possible, I just wanted you to know that you're not alone. Um, and that even sometimes, you can get an idea about somebody just because I have a podcast or creating content on social media or things like that. You can maybe get the impression that I'm all put together and everything's all good. And I think it's important to be open and real and vulnerable. So I want you to know I'm not. I'm not all put together. Everything is not all good. I have some wonderful modalities and people to help support me as I go through different struggles in life, but the struggles still happen, and I'm in one of them right now. So the first breakthrough came when I realized just how deeply my inner critic had been running the show. I've always been aware of that voice in the background, the one that whispers things like, "You're not successful enough," or "You should be further along," or "You're not doing enough." And I thought it was just part of being ambitious. But during one of my sessions with Holly, I saw the truth. That voice wasn't mine to begin with. I grew up in an environment where criticism was just normal. Um, and it wasn't necessarily directed at me, but it was around me. Essentially, like every gathering, every holiday, every birthday party, we lived in the mountains. So we were more remote, and there was always a long drive. And there was this sort of decompression after those events of my parents truly just criticizing everyone and everything about what had happened and what had gone on. And, even if I'm honest, like the you get home and the how was your day question always leading with criticism, with negativity. And so my brain got wired for that. And it's been a hard thing to break. I've realized that I'm more bent toward negativity. So I've been trying to work on that for a couple of years, but I did not ever realize that as a kid, I soaked this in and I learned to view the world through that lens. And eventually I turned that same critical lens that I was hearing, inward. And here is the reframe that has helped change this thought pattern. It has been really powerful. And that is this, that joy in creation is success, not all the other things that I was saying success was. Monetary things, amount of clients, things like that. I'm actually totally changing the definition of success for myself, at least. And I'm inviting you to do it as well. That joy in creation is success. It's not outcomes, it's not numbers, it's not gold stars or praise. It's just joy. Just having joy in the act of making, joy in bringing things to life, joy in being in it. That sentence has unlocked something in me, and it reminded me that I don't need to chase success. I need to feel it in my body, in the process, in the now. And then came the second breakthrough. The one that was so quiet, I almost missed it. It was a pattern, a belief, something I'd been carrying since childhood without ever naming it. The belief that I don't actually get to have my dreams, that no matter how close I get, I never quite arrive. That dreaming is dangerous, that it's better to stay realistic. Even saying those things out loud make me feel so yucky. But I really am realizing they were beliefs I was carrying with me and I was unaware because at first I just didn't know where that came from. But then this memory surfaced, one that I hadn't thought about in years and I'd certainly never connected it to my dreams. See, when I was a little girl, my mom loved, absolutely loved looking at houses. She'd collect real estate magazines. I'm pretty sure she still does, actually. Stacks of them. Like, literally, there are boxes and boxes of these real estate magazines in my parents' home. Um, we'd go to open houses. She loved going to open houses. And she would walk me through pointing out, this would be your room, and we could have movie nights here, and, oh, this could be a garden. One particular house, I'll never forget it. I loved it. It was like a dual ranch style where it was 2 homes sort of connected to each other. And my aunt and uncle and my cousins, who are very close to my age, um, lived close enough that it was possible that we could all move into it. And my mom started dreaming about that. We could live with your aunt and your uncle and your cousins, and this would be their wing, and this would be our wing, and here's where your room would be. And we would have horses, and we could have dogs, and we could just run like a big ranch, and it would be so much fun. And that sounded like so much fun. My heart just lobbed on to the dream. Loved it. And, you know, this is what my mom did. She dreamed out loud with me and she painted entire futures inside of those homes. But the truth was, we never got that house. We never got any of those houses, not once. And I slowly and quietly, you know, started to realize what was going on. And I stopped entering the dreamland with her, figuring out that this was not a reality that was going to happen. Um, but what I did not realize is how powerful this was in my internal world because I think I internalized this. It's something that has lived beneath the surface, that dreams are something you talk about, but not something you have. And that it's safer not to hope for too much. And that getting your hopes up means you'll be let down. So internally, subconsciously, there was this part of me that stopped dreaming, at least in that big, bold, childlike way. And even though I have been dreaming like out loud consciously, I just didn't realize that this was happening, under the surface. So suddenly in that session with Holly, I realized that that little girl was still in me, still holding her breath, still waiting for the dream that never came. And naming that, it was like exhaling for the first time in years. And it was just this huge aha to realize like how powerful that is. I had mentioned early on in the episode that another podcast guest had inspired this. And it was actually because she shared this powerful moment where growing up, her mom always joked, I'm so perfect, I don't poop. And it was like the little girl mind took it as reality, like that if you were pooping, you were not perfect. And she started developing all of these internal issues where she was having digestive issues and problems using the restroom. And it wasn't until she made this connection. Oh my gosh, it was a joke. Like that thing that my mom said was a joke. And the little girl part of me believed it as true that something's wrong with me if I'm having to use the restroom. So I was able to remember that part of her story and how powerful it was, and to make the connection that, wow, you know, naming this, naming this pattern that was going on as a little girl actually could be affecting me and my beliefs now that I'm just was totally unaware of. Because the truth is, I do want to dream again, and not just cautiously, not just with caveats, but fully. I want to live like I am the one who gets the house or whatever the dream looks like now. And here's the thing that I'm learning: joy is the compass, joy is also the evidence, and joy is the point. And with Holly's support, I'm rewriting the stories I've lived by, letting go of inherited beliefs, choosing alignment over performance, choosing joy over judgment, and presence over pressure. And most of all, I'm remembering how to dream, how to trust it, how to let it be mine. So if you've ever found yourself wondering, why do I feel stuck when I'm doing all the right things? Why does success still feel just out of reach? Why do I hold back from really going there with my vision? Maybe, just maybe, there's an old story that's ready to be rewritten, one that didn't start with you, but can end with you. Because when you shine a light on it, you create space for something new, something freer, something more you. So thank you for listening and witnessing this piece of my story. It's tender, it's still being written, but it also feels really important. And if something stirred in you while listening, maybe a memory or a realization, or even just a softening, I hope you give yourself permission to explore it, because you deserve to dream, you deserve joy, and you deserve to feel free in your success. And if you are ready to transform any of your own limiting beliefs, I'm here for it, and I'm ready to walk you through it anytime. Just reach out to me at erinjeancoach.com, and I would be more than honored to support you any way I can.
I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you're feeling blessed by the content here, the number one way you can show me is by leaving me a written review of the show. I'd be forever grateful. Knowing that you're out there listening helps me know that I'm truly living out God's purpose in my life. The other thing you can do is take a screenshot of this episode, share it with a friend, or better yet, tag me on your Instagram stories. Remember, you are seen, known, and loved. May God richly bless you today. All my love, Erin Jean.